All right, good afternoon to everybody. Let me welcome you to this meeting here this afternoon. With us here is the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, one of our very own, Mr. Zulfikar Mustapha. Please give him a big round of applause. I also wish to identify a number of other persons who are here with us this afternoon. The RU to my left, Mr. Narendra Prasad, Mr. Dr. Waldron, who all of you should know, from GLDA. We have our regional vice chairman, Mr. Zamal Hussain. You have the chairman of the district here, the chairman of the NDC. You have many officials from the Ministry of Agriculture. You have former vice chairman, Mr. Bill Jagru. And you have many officials, Mr. Manitou, from the manager from the estate at Albion. So there are many people here who will answer all your questions that you have to ask today. So you're free after the minister will have made his presentation to ask whatever questions you have or to make whatever comments or raise any issue that you might want to raise this afternoon. So without any further ado, I have great pleasure in asking the Honourable Minister to address us.
So this afternoon we are here at Chesney, and whilst I am here, a number of my colleagues are around the country. And you have here too, I don't know if the chairman recognizes, you have the RHO and the head of the New Amsterdam Hospital. So when you all have, I know you all have a lot of health issues. So they will answer this afternoon to all the issues. So as the chairman rightly said, we have every persons who are here will answer for their sector and what they have been doing in the region. But before I ask to listen to your concern, we are out meeting the people to tell them what is in store for them this year, the program of the government. You know, last year, when you look at the various sectors in the country, we would have seen a number of sectors we have achieved our targets, and those are in the productive sector. But we'll see massive transformation taking place in our country this year, and what we have started in 2020 will continue very aggressively this year, and not only in infrastructure, because as I am speaking now, we are seeing a number of infrastructural projects across the country have started, are in progress in terms of developing our infrastructure. But last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, we would have passed one of the largest budgets in the history of our country, 1.146 trillion. For the first time, we have reached the $1 trillion mark. And we are coming out to tell our people, inform the Guyanese people, what is in store in that budget, how you can benefit. Because many times when we pass budget in the National Assembly, ordinary people are saying, what is in the budget for me? The budget is life continue. We'll have to continue to work. We'll have to continue to earn, send our children to school and things like that, the basic things. But unlike previous government, in this budget and all the budgets that we would have passed from 2020 to now, and before that from 92 to 2014, we would have witnessed under all the budget under the PPP civic government, there have been tremendous improvements in the life of Guyanese people. And this year's budget, like any other budget under the PPP civic government, this year there are lots of benefit to transform the life of people in our country. So I want to start out by saying that we will see in all the sectors, health, education, social services, agriculture, and you name it, we'll see a lot of increases in these allocations. For example, in the health sector this year, we'll see $129.8 billion that is allocated in that sector for massive improvement in the healthcare system. You might say that you are getting issues with health-related issues in this community or in this region. But what we are working for is to improve and bring modern healthcare system. Only recently, the president was in New Amsterdam, turning the sod for the construction of a state-of-the-art hospital in New Amsterdam. That hospital, what we are now going down are you in Region 6. What some of the services that you are going down to Georgetown for, things like ultrasound, things like MRI, things like cardiology services, those things you'll get it right here in Region 6 with the construction of that hospital. So this year, you will see a construction of a state-of-the-art hospital that will encompass all the services, cardiology. Imagine now, when you want to do, you want heart treatment, just to speak it in the local term, you have to go to the Caribbean Heart Institute in Georgetown, or you have to go to private hospitals in Georgetown. Those services will become available with the construction of a hospital like that hospital in New Amsterdam. So we are constructing a brand new hospital in New Amsterdam. We are constructing one at number 75 on the quarantine, just to bring proper health care to the people of our country. Also, what we will be doing, we'll link these institutions, because if you know now, if you have been listening to the news, for example, in the interior location, far-flung area in the interior, we have something called telemedicine, where doctors and nurses in those far-flung area, places like Region 9, Region 8, Region 1, now are getting the services without doctors going into that location. And with those services that we have started in those areas, many lives now are being saved, because before you have to medevac those persons to come out to Georgetown, you have to wait for the aircraft to get in there. All those things take time. So whilst you might have basic issues, you might go to the hospital and you don't have the kind of drugs that you want, the basic medication, I want to tell you that we have been spending a lot of money to procure or to purchase medication for the people in our country. So when you go to the hospital and you don't get for example, the prescription drugs, that means there is some problem within the system, because Dr. Sharma or Dr. Bob or even the REO will tell you the government have been buying drugs. Billions of dollars is being allocated to procure drugs for the people in our country, free of cost. The region has to have this relation with the central authority to ensure that these drugs are being made available to the people of our country. So these are some services we will have to improve on it. But coming back, what is in this budget? This budget, as I said, I just only mentioned healthcare, but this budget, as I said, 1.146 trillion. We want to ensure that we move Guyana. Guyana is moving very rapidly. Guyana today is one of the fastest growing economy, but we still have issues to deal with. Now, what the government has been doing over time, you might ask yourself what we have been doing. So in this budget this year, you know, the school cash grant or the school children grant have been increased now to $40,000. Every child will receive $40,000 this year, plus a uniform school uniform voucher of $4,500, right? $4,500, so $44,500 each child on the coast will receive from the government of Guyana. Remember in 2014 when we started this program, the government then said that we want votes, and we are doing this program because we want people to vote for us. Well, election came in 2015 and the PBP Civic went out of government, and they stopped the program. They stopped the program. They say that they didn't have money to continue the program. But at that time, the program cost the government $1.8 billion. They stopped the program, but they increased dietary supply in government by $1.8 billion. In other words, they took the money that was given to allocated to the children of our country, and they was using it for food in government services. So you could see who have your interest at heart. So all these programs, social programs that we are talking about, you will see this year. For example, children, school children, pensioners. This year we have a program where school children and pensioners will have their eye tested free of cost. The government will provide a voucher for $3,000. So they can go and have an eye test, old age pensioner or school children. Now if they need a spectacle, in this year's budget they will get a voucher for $15,000. And the $15,000 can give a child a spectacle. That's the kind of benefit we're talking about. We said when we went to the election in 2020 that we will double old age pension. Old age pension at that time was $20,000. Now today, less than 4 years. Now this is our 4th year. Old age pension is about $36,000 now. We are on our way to double it by next year, 2025, to $40,000. We said we'll increase public assistance from $9,100 to $19,000. 35,000 people now in Guyana are receiving public assistance. And all those allocations are in this year's budget. We have increased old age pension, we have increased NIS invalidity pension, we have increased survivors benefit, we have increased all the pensions in that NIS pay, all the long-term pensions. Now if someone short contribution, for example, between 700 to 704, I am mentioning these things in these areas because Gaisuko is in this area here, and many comrades who would have worked in Gaisuko sometimes have these kinds of problems with contribution records and things like that. So I'm mentioning these things so you could know some of the things or some of the benefits that are in this year's budget for you. 700 to 740 contribution, or 49 contribution, the government will make up that and give you a one-off cash grant to that person who would have make that contribution. So the government is making what you call it, contributing for you if you're short of the contribution. So that program is in this year's budget. As I said, that the minimum pension for NIS was $35,000 last year. It has increased now to $43,000 this year, minimum. Some people getting more than that. The survivor's pension was $17,000. It's gone up to $21,000 minimum this year. So those things are in this year's budget. We have seen the allocation for education, $138.2 billion in the education sector. Housing sector, $78 billion. Right here at your area here, we are now revitalizing and recapitalizing in Gaisuko. We are putting now an additional 2,600 hectares of cane. The target for Gaisuko this year at Albion will increase because we are moving sugar production. Last year we moved from 47,000 tons to 60,000 tons this year. 2022, 47,000 tons to 60,000 tons last year. We want to move that to 100,000 tons this year. We are mechanizing the field so that sugar workers now, the fetching of the cane, we are trying to avoid those things. We have spent close to about $20 billion in Gaisuko since 2020 to revitalize Gaisuko. We reopened the closed sugar estate at Rose Hall. So all these benefits we have brought back to the people of this country. Now, VAT. When we took over, there was a number of items that attract VAT, value-added tax. What we have done, we have now made those items non-vatable. Basic food items, basic agriculture items, things like machinery, pesticide, and you name it. We have made those non-vatable, so you're paying less for that. So the benefit in this year's budget is tremendous. I can go on and on. But I want to tell you that to elaborate on what we have been doing over the last 3 years. For the first time in the history of this country, a party in government has already achieved all the promises that we have made to these people in 3 years. What we are doing now are new things. For example, let me tell you something. If you look around Berbice, right here in Berbice, Region 6, hundreds of community roads are being built. Why? Because we want to change people's life. We want to change people, the infrastructure that they are enjoying. And the roads are being awarded to people within the community. People in the community are benefiting. So the money or the disposable income for people now are much greater than before. We have, and I know you might have issue with this, we have the part-time workers. In Region 6 here we have how many? 5,000? 5,000? 5,000 part-time workers. $40,000 a month. And let me be frank with you. We said that one per household. We said that the people them who, must be selected because we want this thing to spread out and everybody to benefit. So sometimes when the thing happens at the bottom, you might get 1 or 2 or 3 family working. Everybody, the entire government is being tainted. The instruction is, and I want to make it very clear, 1 per household. 1 per household and $40,000 for 10 days work. Now, you might say that $40,000 is a small amount of money. What $40,000 can do? Y'all boast about $40,000. But you multiply $40,000 by 16,000 workers and see how much it will cost. But that is not the case if you take a housing loan, a low-income housing loan, between $7 to $5 million. The mortgage fee is, the mortgage payment monthly is between $25,000 to $27,000. So if you earn a $40,000 and all the time you used to take your husband's money and pay that mortgage, and you now employ in the part-time work, you're getting $40,000 a month, you could take $27,000 maximum and pay that mortgage. You save, you use your husband's money to do other things. You still got a $14,000, $13,000 remain out of the $40,000. That kind of opportunities we are bringing to the people, that kind of benefits that we are bringing to the people. We said we will give 20,000 scholarships in 5 years. For 3 years, we delivered 21,000 scholarships. 21,000 scholarships we give people across this country already. And for the next 2 years, with this first storm, we will ensure that more people who never afforded, who never thought of going and getting a university education, now can be in their home and get a university education and study in any university around the world, online. We said we will make University of Guyana education free once again. This year's budget will address that issue because there are a number of students who would have taken loan, and the first measure that we are addressing in this year's budget is to address those persons who would have taken loan to attend the University of Guyana, to bring University Guyana free here. We said we'll give 50,000 house lots. We said we'll make 50,000 jobs available. We have 16,000 only right in the part-time. We re-employ back over 4,000 sugar workers that had lost their job during the APNUEFC time. We re-employ back the community service officers in the hinterland location, over 2,000 of them. And you calculate the amount of people we have employed. So, whilst you might not get everything that you want, your lives have been improved tremendously since 2020 to now. Nobody can say that we don't have improvement or we don't had improvement. And when you look at the measures that we have put in place, only one area I talk about school children cash grant. I talk about old age pensioner. I talk about employment for part-time workers. I talk about the sugar industry, how much we have spent. And when we develop these areas, the spin-off effect are tremendous. The spin-off effect are tremendous. And when you look at our programs for the rest of this term, the program that we want to implement, we are saying, look, right now as I'm speaking, we have the gas to shore energy project going on. That is slated to be completed by 2025. When that is completed, the electricity rate will reduce by 50%. So if you're paying $10,000 a month now, you will pay $5,000 when that comes on stream. But the most important thing is that we'll have reliable electricity. Now you have a lot of blackouts. When that project is completed, we'll have reliable and stable electricity. Plus the cost for cooking gas will reduce tremendously. So the benefit in that project will be tremendous. Then when we talk about the modernization of our country, I just not talk about the community roads. But look, when you look at the larger projects, for example, who crossed the Demerara Harbor Bridge will tell you, when that bridge is open, you have to wait at least 1.5 hours. And thousands of people using that bridge every day to traverse that area from West Dem and come across to Georgetown and back. Workers. So when you look at the man hour, it's tremendous, a lot of man hours we're losing. And any responsible government, if we want to develop our country, we will ensure that we maximize our human resource. And that is what we are presently trying to do. Because we are now building a four-lane high-span bridge over the Demerara River. So when the bridge is completed, you'll not have to wait for 1 hour. You travel over. But then from that bridge to Georgetown, you might spend an hour to get into Georgetown because of the congestion of the East Bank Road. What we did, we built a 4-lane highway from Mandela right on to Diamond. And that will continue to a place called Busby Dam and right on to the Linden Highway, where that place is. So almost from the Chedijagan Airport right on to Georgetown, we will get a 4-lane highway. So within 15 minutes now, you're in Georgetown when you're over that bridge, with the 4-lane right behind Eccles, Peters Hall area. We are now doing all the bridges from the Linden to Lethem. So we are linking our country and modernizing our country. All the bridges, we are now doing asphaltic road from Linden to Mabura Hill. We are working with the Surinamese authority now to start the construction of the Quarantine River Bridge. We have already started the widening of the Quarantine Highway from New Amsterdam to Molson Creek to make it a 4-lane on that Quarantine Road. So you get a broader road. These are the modern infrastructure that we're talking about. Region 6 is slated for massive development. You know already. The president came, we turned the sod, the stadium is under construction. We have a private hospital that will be constructed at Palmyra. You have a lot of call centers are being built. You have 2 already built in Berbice recently, one at 75 and one at Palmyra. That job opportunity will be created. So in the entire country, all the sectors, we'll see massive transformation. And this is a program, this is a modernization that we are talking about. Bring opportunities to the people of our country. And if you noted, I haven't touched on my sector, so I will talk on my sector. That is my specialty, talk about what happened in agriculture. But I just mentioned in what is in the budget. So you could see how many things, and I'm just only summarizing. So this brings me to the point, what we are doing in the agriculture sector. And for me, I am not being prejudiced here. For me, the agriculture sector is the most important sector in a country, any country, because the agriculture sector is responsible for us to produce food. And in this year's budget, we'll see $97.6 billion that is allocated for this sector. We'll see massive transformation in infrastructural development in Region 6, in agriculture. For example, we know for a fact areas like these suffer tremendously when we have heavy rainfall. All the cultivation area, because of the flood that we suffer in 2021, Albion, almost all the entire cultivation in Albion was destroyed, the sugar estate. Many persons would have suffered livestock losses. The crop was lost. We had to make money available in 2021 to give back to the farmers, to go back to the land. Why? Because we recognize the importance of agriculture. We recognize for us to be food secure, the agriculture sector has to be resilient, has to be strong, has to be productive. And that is why we are investing so heavily in this sector. In 2015, when we got out of government, the budgetary allocation was $18.3 billion, $18.5 billion. When we got back into government in 2020, instead of increasing it, it went down to $13 billion. Because the government at that time, from 2015 to 2020, de-emphasized. They didn't put any emphasis on agriculture. We see that they closed 4 sugar estates, 7,500 sugar workers would have lost their job, 1,972 CSOs in the hinterland community, almost 35,000 Guyanese from 2015 to 2020 would have lost their jobs. Now we are seeing back people in economic activities. With the reopening of the Rosal estate, not only the 1,000, there are 1,100 sugar workers that are working there are benefiting now. You go to Rosal, you go to places like Canefield, Betsy Ground, Banana Land and so. See back the life that we have generated in those areas with the opening of the Rosal estate back. There's back economic life. The village economy has now got back into action. The shopkeeper will reopen back their shop. The market vendor going back to the market to sell their produce. Because all these money are being circulated in the community. And we are seeing more economic activity. So when people say we invest in sugar, we are not only making the investment in sugar, we must see what is the direct and the indirect benefit. For example, when you get flood, Gaisuko does help drain the land. Before time, Gaisuko does look after the cricket ground. Because of Gaisuko's intervention, many areas like these produce outstanding sportsmen and sportswomen. International cricketers came out from these areas because of that. So now those are the things right here. The community of Chesney just gets service from the Albion dispensary for health care, primary health care. Those are the indirect benefit that the community enjoy, leaving out who earn directly from Gaisuko. So when we make investment in agriculture, not only the farmers who are enjoying the infrastructure are benefiting, the entire country. When we increase rice production from 610,000 metric ton to 653,000 metric ton, the entire country get more revenue, more money to spend. So we have seen a massive revolution in the agriculture sector. Although we are now producing oil and gas, and the country's economy would have grown by 37%, the fastest growing in the world. When you take out the non-oil sector will that grow almost 12%, 11.7%. The agriculture sector alone grows 7%. And sometimes we just make all kinds of derogatory remarks, things that we are not responsible for. And if we lose it this time, comrade, we'll never again secure our children's future. As I said, I am just laying out the facts, what is happening, the investment that we are making. Guyana today is leading the drive in agriculture. Today our president, when I became Minister of Agriculture, we have lost that place to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Since 2020, we rescue back that position and Guyana is leading. And since our president is leading the agriculture drive in CARICOM, we have seen a renewed interest in CARICOM. Places like Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and the whole Eastern Caribbean countries, they are now looking forward to Guyana to move this agriculture sector forward. We have started and brought in new programs. What we have been doing over the centuries, like rice and sugar, we are expanding on those. But we are bringing in new crops. We are doing agriculture in a more modern way. We are bringing people into things like shade house cultivation. We are doing high value crops, things like broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, lettuce. In 2021, we imported $2.6 billion in those crops. Today, we are now contributing to supply the hospitality industry in this country. We said that we'll improve on our livestock. We have brought in better breeding animal. We are working with farmers to give them 63, 64 breeding bulls we brought in from Texas. We have given those to various farmers around the country so that they can increase and improve their stock in the livestock sector. We are building one of the most state-of-the-art abattoir right here in Region 5, Anvawak. We have to ensure we improve the beef industry. We are looking to improve the dairy industry, where DDL now is investing at $20 million US to produce all the dairy needs for our country. We already have a dairy plant at Anvawak there, where farmers are working with that investor to supply fresh milk. And what I have been working, the president instructed that I work with single parents so that we can help them to at least get some milking material, and we can provide them with cows so that they can also use those things like these milking machines and so to use it to supply those areas. So there are lots of improvement that we have done over the years. And we have seen production increase, not ordinarily, because what we are experiencing now, we are in the midst of an El Nino, a dry weather condition. We have to do a lot of intervention to bring irrigation. For example, right now, Gaisuko, I give them almost 15 pumps so that they can use the pump to recycle these water in the field to water the canes. The rice area, we have rehabilitated a number of pumps across the country so that we can get more irrigation. We are now investing in pastures for animals. As I am speaking now, we have over 4 or 5 pastures under construction so that we are now helping farmers to get better grass for their animals. So all these investments we have been making. But coming back to the infrastructure, this year in Region 6, you'll see 3 Hope-like canals being constructed. One at number 52, 51, 52 area, another in the Bengal area, and one between the Wim Letterkenny area. We'll do an embankment from number 66 right on to the Kanchi Creek, Vinshab, or what the place name, Vinshab, so that the water from the backland can come across into the cultivation area to flood it. The contract will be out very shortly. We already have 34 persons who have already expressed their interest, 35 persons from Region 6 to start work in that area, from number 66 to Vinshab. We'll do construction of the pump station in these Hope-like canals. If you notice, when we had the floods in 2021, the entire Georgetown and East Coast was spared because of that Hope-like canal that we had at Hope there. So we'll do 3 of those in Region 6 and another 2 in Region 5. And those work will commence within a matter of months. Those are massive infrastructure. Also, right at Chesney, at the outfall here, we'll build a brand new pumping station this year so that you'll have better capacity to drain your system. Because we know for a fact that these areas suffer tremendously. Now, we are encouraging farmers that they must get involved in agriculture. What we have been doing over the years, we have been making planting material available to farmers within the community. We have been, and we can roll out a program here. We can give you all a lot of these equipment that we normally share out, things like small pumps, gardening tools, and we can have our officers who are here to work along with you all so that you can start back agriculture. Agriculture is very important for us. Many persons don't realize. Sometimes when they go to the market, we see the cost from produce gone up tremendously. You know why? Because you get more demands than supply. And when you get more demands than supply, the price has gone up. That is why we are organizing farmers market. So we can help a lot of people to give them the kind of input. We can help you with these poultry boards that we have, the black giant boards. We can help you with planting materials. We can help you with small tools. But sometimes also when we send it down at the bottom here, all body don't receive it. And some people hog it up for themselves. That's the thing we have to look at. So we'll have to deal. I know the issues in this community. We have to deal with it. But sometimes who are criticizing too, the people then who are making the criticism, and you give them one extra and then shut them out afterwards too, and then join the crew. So these are the things we have to look at. We have to be open and accountable. But comrades, as I said, this year you'll see massive development, tremendous development in all the sector. As I said, we want to improve people's life, but we are not only improving it with infrastructure. We are not only building roads, we are not only building schools, hospitals, and other infrastructure. What we are doing in this year's budget, you'll see programs to improve people themselves. For example, I was saying about some of the programs that you can start with. Like your children can start with the Gold program, the Gold Scholarship program. You could start out with some of the other programs that the Ministry of Human Services, this WIN program that they have. In the agriculture sector, what I plan to do is to start, for example, training people in specific areas. Right now, we have 3 specialists from Cuba who are working with people in the country to start back honey production. You know, honey is a very lucrative crop and lucrative activity. And we want honey to be one of the main products coming out of Guyana. We have started the production of corn and soya. 2 years ago, we started it. Last year, we planted 4,000 acres. This year, we'll increase that to 12,000 acres. And by next year, we'll increase that to 25,000 acres to produce all the corn and soya. So we can produce all our livestock feed. When we produce the livestock feed, the cost for livestock product will drop tremendously. That's the plan. That's a government with a vision. We are not saying that things like rice is a private business. We are not saying that we're right-size the sugar industry. Then I want to tell you that they might close down the sugar industry. People like Ramjet and them are saying they're right-size it. But when they right-size it, you get thousands of workers lost their job. For example, Kanji, the entire area was like a ghost town. Families were broken up. People had to take out their children from school. People had to give up utility services because they were unable to pay for things like telephone, water. So these were the social problems people were getting. Today, what we are getting, we are not only re-employing people, we are making opportunities available. We are bringing scholarship to the children. We are giving the children cash grant to go to school. We are trying to improve the infrastructure. We are bringing more services to you, the residents. So those are the yardstick we have to look at when we look at our measurement. What were available to us from 2015 to 2020, and what is available from us from 2020 to now, going on to 2025. And look at all the programs that we have reintroduced back in this country. I can go all and tell you. For example, in 2018, they increased land rental and D&I charges by 3,000%. From $3,500 to $15,000. We took a motion to the parliament and we said Ask them to reverse it. They used their one-seat majority and voted down the motion. We said when we get back into government, we will reverse it. We got back into government in 2020 August. In October, we took a bill to the parliament, a motion to the parliament, and we reversed that from $15,000 to $3,500. That one measure. Farmers in certain areas, like the MMA scheme, they were able to save $1.7 billion annually. Those are the measures, those are opportunities that we're talking about. And there will be more opportunities coming your way. That is why I am saying you must ensure, and especially female. There are a lot of females here, and you might say that you might not have the kind of opportunities that you want. Now we can make up opportunities available. What we started out, the president gave instruction that 35% women and youth must be in all the projects that we want to do from the Ministry of Agriculture. So we have a cut rose project. A cut flower rose project is that we have how many? 4 shade houses. We are now growing our own roses. Each rose, if you buy a rose from the flower shop, it costs you about $2,000 or $2,500. We are now targeting single parents, female. We are selling one of those roses for about $200. Where is Jagnarai? $350. We sell one of those roses for. And these single parents going back and selling it for $1,500 to $2,000. One rose. One rose. And now tomorrow, Valentine, if you sell rose, you got all body buy rose. Right? So we producing 50%. We are producing 50% of the roses that we used to import in Guyana in 3 years. So what we are doing now, we are working with Colombia to do these chocolate roses. So what we'll do now, we'll produce all our roses. 2 years ago, or about a year and a half ago, the president called me and said that he understands that there are people in the quarantine who are doing shrimp farming. But they are doing it in a small scale. That they will produce like a 2-3 bucket every morning when they take in the water, 2-3 bucket, and take it to the market to sell. He said, let us work on a program to enhance the farm, to help the people them. So that time when you calculate all the production coming out of the farm was 10,000 kilograms monthly, then it's produced. We get about 120 farmers. Gajimbi, how about 120? So we earmark them and we're working with them. We completed just about 75% of the project. You know what happened now? We increased production from 10,000 kilograms to last month, January, 94,000 kilograms. A brackish water shrimp. That money going back to the community. $1.5 billion last year. Those persons who, right here in the quarantine, would have earned with the sale of those shrimp. So those are the kind of economic opportunities I am talking about. Very shortly, we'll start the production of prawns, freshwater prawns, coming out right here, right at Anvawak. We already have the ponds, they are being lined now. We are putting in all the other system in place, and in a month time, the larvae will go in there and we'll start to produce prawns coming out of there. So these are the opportunities that we can work with individuals. You have land, we can help you to develop the land, either in crop farming or aquaculture, or anything you want to do, we can help you to do it. Bring other opportunities to you, the people. So the investment, when you look at the budget of 1.146 trillion, there are lots of programs in all the sectors where you can tap into. I don't want to talk about the other program. I know I might bring controversy here. But then we are trying also to help people to get a little grant. You know, a cash grant, you hear a lot of trouble in Berbice for that too. You understand? So what we say, I advise, and even the vice president would have advised, let us go into the community and let the community choose the people then. So if you get the first time, you can't get back now. If your mother get, the son can't get. But sharing money in this country is very difficult, I can tell you. When we had the flood relief in 2021, if 6 body live in the home, all 6 body are farmers. Right? So, and we had a lot of persons who didn't deserve receive the money. And they were genuine persons who didn't receive it. We give cash grant to farmers, rice farmers, cash crop farmers, and livestock farmers. We give cash grant to the fisher folks, $150,000. We give cash grant to the several sugar workers who would have lost $250,000, lost their job, although they were re-employed. So all these persons, when we started out in 2025, the first thing we started on was a $25,000 cash grant to every household. Receive it. So all those money that we are giving out are disposable income. You get more money to spend in your pocket. And this will continue. More benefit will continue, not only in infrastructure, not only in the services that we are offering, but you'll get more economic opportunities. There will be more jobs available for your children. Today, whilst I am speaking here, I had a meeting the other day with all the estate manager and the whole top brass of Gaisuko. They are telling me that they are not getting workers to work. That is why now we have to mechanize the cultivation. So we use machine to cut the cane and we use machine to load it. You understand? And plant. We are also doing the mechanized planting now. We want workers to plant 2,600 hectares of cane. I met Gaisuko CEO and I instruct them, go into the community. If you are not finding the workers because of other economic activities, go into the community, meet a group of workers, give them a special contract. I asked Mana, you know if Mana ever come to Chesney, right? But give the workers, say that, look, you get this hectare of land, you want to plant it, get a set of group of workers and we will give you a special price. You're not getting estate price. You're getting a contract price. All that we did. 2 months ago I met them, asked them in my office. But they said, I find people. Now we have to contract these things to private contractors. And still, from now to the 31st of March, we got to plant 4,100 hectares of cane in the 4 sugar estate to produce 100 tons of sugar, 100,000 tons of sugar by the end of this year. If we go over March, then the cane can't be ready. So that's the position we are in. Whilst you might see a lot of achievement, but we are working around the clock. And they will tell you too, for the first time they are seeing the Minister of Agriculture involved so much to get Gaisuko back on track. Because I am interested, I know I came out of sugar, and I want sugar to be successful. As I'm speaking now, we have an opportunity where we will start the construction of a refinery at Enmore, the Enmore Sugar Estate. Before the year out, we have an investor that will start the construction of a refinery. The sugar being produced at places like Albion, Blairmont, Rosal, and Iflot, we got to refine the sugar. Because in the Caribbean, we have opportunity to sell 200,000 tons of metric tons of sugar, white sugar, they want. We are now constructing the packaging plant. We move it from Enmore at Albion here. We are rehabilitating the one at Blairmont. We are building more capacity. They got 5,700 hectares of land that they mechanize at Skeldon. I give instruction today that I want a report that we can start planting back there again. We are working with India to get a management committee to come and help Gaisuko to run Gaisuko. We are working with Cuba to get better high-yielding variety of cane. Very shortly, a team from Gaisuko will go to look at those canes. So we are working to rehab, bring back Gaisuko back on track, reduce the cost of production. The main thing is to reduce and ensure Gaisuko break even so that they can have their own money. Every year, like for example, this budget, I had to go and defend $6 billion in the National Assembly. And you all must look at the tape. See how much question people like Ramjat and them ask, they will waste money. So we're throwing money on the sugar. Right in the teacher strike. When you look at the amount of increases that we have given to the teachers, they are still questioning that we give more money to Gaisuko. Right? The point why I'm trying to make is that we never discriminate against workers in this country. Every set of workers or every sector of workers would have received their fair share. When we give 6.5% to the public servants, we give 6.5% to the Gaisuka workers. From 2015 to 2020, sugar workers in this country didn't receive a cent increase. Not a cent increase, and nobody never talked that the sugar workers never received no increase. We moving on time or what? But we must ensure, comrades, as I said, there are lots of opportunities from 2020 to now. We have seen our lives transform, and there are more transformation to come. This period is a heavy lifting period. We are building an economy for 2030 and beyond. So what we are doing now, we are building the economy. We are moving up to improve the infrastructure, the industry, the social services, the institution, like the hospital, the schools. We are improving on those, bringing more benefit to the people. But beyond 2030, the life of Guyanese will improve tremendously. Guyana will be the talk or the envy of this part of the world. Right now, as I am speaking, the entire Caribbean is looking to Guyana for that kind of leadership that we are giving. In next week, from the 25th to the 28th, the entire Caribbean, all the 15-member CARICOM country, plus the 5 associated members, all the head of states will be in Guyana for the CARICOM heads of government meeting. We'll be hosting them. From Monday to Thursday next week, we have the energy conference. Will commence, where a lot of international figures will be in Guyana. President, people from various organizations will converge in Guyana for the energy conference. In March, from the 18th to the 22nd of March, we have the FAO, UN FAO conference, where 34 countries will come to Guyana for that conference from the 18th to the 22nd of March. Then you have the CDB Directors Conference during the same period. So you could see Guyana now is attracting the attention of the world. Not only before time, people never want to come to Guyana. Guyana now is the center of attention. That shows because of the kind of management that we are giving into this country to improve this country, to bring benefit to the people of this country, and ensure that everybody enjoy the resources. So, comrades, I will try to pause here because I know you might have some questions. But I want to tell you, this will be my last message to you. Let us don't forget where we came from. Let us always remember, from March of 2020 to August of 2020, there was a government in this country who was trying to derail the process, who was trying to stagnate development, and who was trying to do anything to remain in government. They suppressed our votes for 5 months. And because of the constant pressure, because of the fight that our party puts up at that time, and the help from the international community, democracy prevailed in August. And we must never again allow those people to get back into the seat of power, or else our freedom will forever be denied to our country. So what we are doing now, we are working with every strata, every section of society. If you notice, not only ministers of government going out, the president himself going to various parts of this country to listen firsthand what is happening, so that we can ensure that we know the problems to address and find solutions to those problems. So this afternoon, as we are gathering here this afternoon, let us remember those things. Let us continue to support a government that will continue to bring progress to you, a government that have your interests at heart, and a government that will bring a secure future to the people of our country. Thank you very much.